بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اور محمد وآل محمد صلوات. کیسا ہے یہ چراغا کیسا ہے یہ چراغا دل ڈوبے جا رہے ہیں کیا شام آ گیا ہے اما فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں اما فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں کیسا ہے یہ چراغا دل ڈوبے جا رہے ہیں کیا شام آ گیا ہے اما فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں ہونے لگی اذانیں کیسے سروں کو ڈھانپے بازو بندھے ہوئے ہیں خون رو رہی ہے آنکھیں آنکھوں کے خون سے رستے خون میں نہا رہے ہیں کیا شام آ گیا ہے اما فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں سجاد کا کلیجہ صد پاش ہو رہا ہے ایک ایک زخم ان کا اس غم میں رو رہا ہے زینب کا نام لے کر آداب بلا رہے ہیں کیا شام آ گیا ہے اما فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں؟ نیزے پہ جتنے سر ہے ایک سر ہے ان میں سا، آنکھیں ہے بند اس کی اور خاک پر ہے گرتا، عباس کا یہ سر ہے تیور بتا رہے ہیں، کیا شام آ گیا ہے؟ فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں؟ اتنا چلے ہے پیڈل کانٹوں پہ سارے قیدی، تھک جاتی چلتے چلتے چلتی اگر زمیں بھی، پیروں کے آبلے بھی آنسو بہا رہے ہیں، کیا شام آ گیا ہے؟ فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں؟ ہے لوگ کس طرح کے ہم سے دعا کرائے، ایک دیو دعا دو یہ دن ہم پہ آئے، لے کر دعائیں ہم سے دل بھی دکھا رہے ہیں، کیا شام آ گیا ہے؟ فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں؟ ماؤں کے گودیوں سے لپٹے ہوئے ہیں بچے، ہے ہاتھ رسیوں میں ماؤں کو ایسے جکڑے، بچے جو گر رہے ہیں وہ مرتے جا رہے ہیں، کیا شام آ گیا ہے؟ فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں؟ ریحان کے دیوں میں برپا تھا شور گریا، پلکوں سے کر رہی تھی ماتم جو بنت زہرا، سجاد نوحہ خواں ہے نوحہ سنا رہے، کیا شام آ گیا ہے؟ فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں؟ فضا بتا دے مجھ کو پتھر کیوں آ رہے ہیں؟ پر محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين. The goal and the mission of the enemies of the Ahlul Bayt over history was always to get rid of this family, to wipe out their remembrance, to remove their love from the hearts of the people. And Kufa and Sham was to be that place where this mission was completed. And Yazid thought that everything was set up and now this would finally be achieved. The mission that since the day the Holy Prophet brought forward this message of Islam, since that day this mission was in the minds of the tyrants, of those who were wretched, of those who could not accept the light of Allah. Since that day they plotted and tried, only to fail. And now was the time where they were so close, in their own opinion, to success. Kufa and Sham was meant to be the place where they were disgraced. The Imam and the family of the Holy Prophet, the family of our Imam, the Ahlul Bayt, they adopted a strategy in Kufa. The strategy was to teach the people that speech is not enough and you must correct your actions. You must be truly loyal. This message went across loud and clear to the people of Kufa. The people of Sham had to be taught a different message based on their circumstances, their understanding. And this message was a message of awakening, of enlightenment, to educate them, to show them who these people that were martyred were. And this is the mission that our Imam adopted. And yesterday we spoke about how the introduction even that the Imam has in Kufa and Sham is very different. In Kufa, the introduction is very brief and straight into the masa'ib and what happened. But in Sham, this introduction is much more lengthy. And he connects himself to concepts and places and people the people of Sham revere. And through this, he creates an awakening within Sham. Kufa, they lost the battle in all the different ways they tried, and Sham, as we'll see in tonight and the following 2 nights, until we move towards Karbala again and the journey of Arba'in is complete, we'll see in these nights where we discuss Sham, that in Sham also, they were not able to achieve this goal. That was their whole goal. Everything behind Karbala, all the martyrdom, was to achieve this goal. You may ask that, why did Yazid do something so evil? Why did he do something that he knew in history he'd be written down as somebody who carried out such a massacre? Everybody knew the status of our third Imam. Why did Yazid do it? Because Yazid saw an opportunity that once and for all we get rid of this family. And he thought, yes, it may cost me a little bit, but I'll be able to complete this mission. But history shows that he didn't achieve these tasks and he failed miserably. And in fact, not only did the love and the affection towards the Ahlul Bayt not decrease, but it reached the heart of Sham, the capital city of where propaganda was spread. The love of the Ahlul Bayt reached over there. He failed miserably in his mission. We even have reports that we speak about today in a slight amount of detail, where Yazid had made the decision to martyr our fourth Imam as well in Sham. The decision was made by Yazid. But through how the Imam maneuvered Yazid, the Imam was able to protect this divine lineage. The Imam wanted Shahada. It's not like he was, na'udhu billah, fearful or scared of death. We've spoken about these, I don't need to repeat. The courage of the fourth Imam should be something that's alive in our hearts just now. But because of this pure lineage continuing and the message reaching us until today, the Imam was able to thwart this threat that Yazid presented. To show this enlightening more, let's go through the khutbah of Imam Sajjad. A few of the places in this khutbah are very beautiful and show us how he enlightened the people, how he educated the people. And we want to move forward today with one very practical lesson, which we'll come towards, inshallah. The Imam says, Ayyuhan nas, the Imam, this is a continuation of the khutbah that we began yesterday, where he introduced himself. It wasn't his turn to speak. Yazid appointed an eloquent speaker to stand up and speak. He said what he wanted. He insulted the Imam left, right, and center, his family. The Imam then stood up and started speaking on his own. It's interesting, in history it seems that he was so eloquent and so captivating that nobody could stop this speech. Nobody could even interrupt him in this speech. The Imam continued speaking in a way that one point after another, Yazid has nothing to say. Interestingly, there's quite a few reports. We should all note that the khutbahs and the statements that I'm presenting are a drop in the ocean. There's much more than this. And it would require much more time to go through all of them in detail. But there's a whole group of these khutbahs where the Imam stands up and addresses Yazid in this manner. And Yazid, in multiple occasions, very embarrassing for Yazid, he stands up and he says, look, don't let him speak. Don't let these people speak. If these people start speaking, we know what's going to happen. Don't let them speak. And he says, he even uses the word that if you let these people speak, they're going to disgrace us. It's happened time and again. Yazid is, we have an expression in Gujarati, I'm forgetting the exact expression. Who will remind me the expression? The person who's burnt with milk, when he sees chas, what happens to him? What's the expression? That a person who's tried and tested something, he's already been burnt by it, he won't be burnt a second time. Can you remind me of the expression? Dood, no? But we all know the expression that somebody who's English makeshaki, a person once bitten, twice shy. In English we have the expression. But once bitten, twice shy. Yazid is 200 times bitten, 201 times shy. Right? He's suffered at the hands of the Ahlul Bayt, enlightening and educating the people so much that now he doesn't want this to happen again. But the Imam, he stands up and he gives his speech, Ayyuhan nas inna Allaha wa lahul hamd ibtalana ahlal bayt bibala'in hasan. He's clarifying for the people. He's educating the people. He says, O people, we, the Ahlul Bayt, have been given a beautiful test from Allah. حيث جعل راية الهدى والعدل والتقى فينا. Because Allah placed, look at this, subhanallah, the strength of the Imam. Because Allah placed the flag of guidance, of justice, of piety in our hands. Look at these words, huh? The Imam doesn't speak randomly. You know, sometimes we just put adjectives to sound fancy. The Imam selects his adjectives, selects the words that he has. Allah placed the flag of guidance, of justice, and of piety. Guidance is something all human beings want. Which human being do you find that you tell them, let me guide you, and they say, no, I don't want guidance. Everyone wants guidance. Adl is the most basic, loved concept by every human being. In fact, the scholars of ethics and akhlaq, they say that the root of all the traits is adl and justice. Everything in its own place, in the right time, in the right way. Allah gave us the flag of justice and piety, God-wariness. Allah gave this flag to us. وَجَعَلَ رَايَةَ الضَّلَالَ وَالرَّدَى فِي غَيْرِنَا. And Allah gave the flag of misguidance and of destruction to somebody else. This is Allah's test for us. Look, He's trying to educate the people of Sham. Oh, people of Sham, look, there's two flags in this world. There's two sides you can pick from. Allah gave this test to us. He gave us the flag of being correct, being just, being on the path of guidance, and He gave them the other flag. Now you pick, which flag do you want to take? Which side do you want to go on? This is the test Allah gave us, and we are going to stand by this test. What's a flag? The symbol of a flag is the symbol of leadership, is the symbol of carrying a message. A flag, when you see a flag, the first thing when you see a flag right now, let's say there's a car with a small flag on it. A car that's come from an embassy, a diplomat car, the first thing you do is you try and identify what is on this flag. What is it representing? Is it a country? Is it an organization? The Imam is saying, if you want to know what our flag carries, we are the ones that carry forward the mission of justice, the mission of taqwa, the mission of guidance is in our hands. And the Imam, when he's taken up this test that Allah has placed on his shoulders, is going to carry on. Yes, the flag of Hazrat Abbas, our Alamdar, may have fallen to the ground in the apparent form on the day of Ashura. But this flag carried on until Sham and Kufa. This is the message that the Imam is saying. Allah tested us with this flag, and this flag will continue. And then the Imam begins to speak about the fada'il and the lofty station of the Ahlul Bayt, that Allah gave us 6 traits. He gave us ilm and hilm and shaja'a and samaha and mahabba wal mahalla fi qulub al-mu'minin. All of this, look, sometimes we recite these as separate and we think about these as separate instances in history. But now, with the way that we're moving, you should be able to understand where this finds itself in the jigsaw puzzle of Kufa and Sham. The Imam is saying that we have these fada'il. Look, everybody's after fada'il. Which human being doesn't want knowledge? Even you go to the most ignorant person in the world and you say you're an ignorant, he says, tumne su samjhe che? I am a person who's very knowledgeable. You go to somebody who doesn't have forbearance, doesn't have patience. You say you're a person who doesn't have patience. He says, no, I'm a person who tries to be patient. Bravery, you call anybody in the world a coward. They don't like it. The Imam is saying, look, this is what Allah has given us the flag of. What is he doing? Subhanallah, this is the situation that the Imam couldn't have paid for. The Imam couldn't have asked for a better situation. In the heart of Sham, he's doing tabligh, he's reciting Majlis for the people of Sham, showing the people of Sham who the Ahlul Bayt were. All these decades of propaganda, the Imam is reversing them when? After the event of Karbala, after what happened in Kufa, after the journey, in Sham, in front of the severed head of his father. The Imam in such a situation is educating the people. This is not to recite the fada'il of the Ahlul Bayt and the people say wah wah and go home. The people in Sham went through an awakening by these words. The people of Sham said, wait a second. What this man is saying, if it's true, we've been misled our whole lives. So Yazid is double burning just now. Yazid is not only burning that I didn't complete my mission. He says all that hard work my father and me, we worked on for so many years, in my own house, in my palace, is being unraveled. This is the Ahlul Bayt. And the last one is very beautiful. The Imam says we've been given a quality, and that is that the human beings and people who are believers love us. Allah placed the love of the Ahlul Bayt in the hearts of the believers. This is a double-pronged and a two-pronged attack and message that's gone across. One is that the Imam is educating me and you as well, that the love of the Ahlul Bayt is a quality of a believer. The love of the Ahlul Bayt is a quality of a believer. This is something that the Ahlul Bayt have been granted. Allah gave them this. There's many ahadith about this. There's many ayat of the Quran about this. Second, O people of Sham, if you find within your hearts that you don't have the love of the Ahlul Bayt, then know something is wrong with what? With your iman. There's an issue with your iman. How awakening is this message? The mission of Sham is to awaken the people. وَآتَانَا مَا لَمْ يُؤْتِ أَحَدًا مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah gave us things that He has not given anybody in the whole world. Before us and after us, nobody gets these blessings that Allah gave us. Fina. The Imam is basically reciting the fada'il of the Ahlul Bayt. Why? To make people happy? Sometimes we also recite the fada'il. It should have a purpose behind it. The Imam is doing it to awaken the people. That look, this is our true rank and status. Understand this and live your life differently. Change your path. Move away from Yazid, move away from Muawiyah and join the true path. It's interesting. What was the goal of Yazid? To eradicate the Ahlul Bayt. Just a few decades after Karbala, Bani Umayyah is eradicated. It's the exact opposite. He sought to eradicate the Ahlul Bayt through the Ahlul Bayt, through their wisdom, through their sacrifices, through their courage, through their bravery, and through all of the lessons that we've learned. They eradicated Bani Umayyah. Look at the twist in the story. And he continues, Fina mukhtalaful malaika. The angels descend and come upon us. The book was descended upon us. Anybody who has any doubts at this situation in Sham, when they hear each one of these, one of them is very likely to strike that person. They say, this was the family that the Quran was revealed in. This family, Yazid, what are you doing? Why are you attacking? Why did you martyr such a family? Why have you brought them as prisoners in front of us? And he continued and continued and continued until, like Ibn Ziyad, Yazid also had to resort to a plan C and D and E and F where he failed. And this is the famous incident where Yazid says, "O Mu'adhin, begin reciting the adhan." He thought, okay, we can't insult these people, we can't hurt these people, we can't take away what they have. At least let's cut our losses and save what we have right now. This person will recite adhan, even though it may not be the time of namaz, it may not be the time of adhan, but at least, pata hai na kya baat hai. This is too much. We're suffering too badly. And as you know, the Imam, when the Mu'adhin begins, he says, Allahu Akbar. The Imam replies back and he says, Allahu Akbaru Kabiran. It's so beautiful how the Imam does this. It's as if the Imam is trying to teach the people, look, this adhan is very important. The adhan is a pillar of religion. But you have to understand the status of the Ahlul Bayt, that I will give you the explanation and the comment after each line of the adhan. And nobody opposes. The Mu'adhin also continues reciting the adhan. He recites Allahu Akbar, he says Allahu Akbaru Kabiran. The Mu'adhin calls out Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. The Imam says Ashhadu bima tashhadu bih. I also bear witness the same way you have bared witness. And then the Mu'adhin says Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Please recite salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And the Imam then again holds Yazid. Look, these are not practiced. It's not like Yazid told the Imam, of course, what he's going to say. The Imam is trying to tell the people the reality of the Ahlul Bayt, and in every instance, he's able to put this message across. Yazid thought adhan is a way that, we can at least make people quiet. If I get another person to speak, pachu, maar khais. At least adhan parave. So, at least we finish the story off, let people gather and disperse, we finish it off. In the adhan, when he reaches this line, the Imam stands up, the Imam calls out to Yazid, Ya Yazid, hadha jaddi am jadduk? Straight up question, Yazid, I don't have too much to say to you. Is this your grandfather or my grandfather? If you say it's your grandfather, everyone knows that you're a liar, it's not your grandfather. And if you say it's my grandfather, فَلِمَ قَتَلْتَ أَبِي وَسَبَيْتَ حَرَمَهُ وَسَبَيْتَنِي. If it's my grandfather, why did you kill my father? Why have you taken his family as prisoner? Why have you taken me as prisoner? This is the destruction. This is the total obliteration of Yazid in his own court in Sham by our Imam in chains. And it goes on, the people over here begin to cry. He calls out, the Imam calls out to the people, oh people, look, his address is with the grassroots. His address is to awaken the people. Hal fikum man abuhu wa jadduhu Rasulullah. He calls out to the people, okay, no problem, Yazid, it wasn't his grandfather. Any of you, your father, your grandfather is the Holy Prophet? فَعَلَتِ الْأَصْوَاتُ بِالْبُكَاءِ. The people now begin to cry. The people of Sham, the people of Kufa, they were crying before the Imam came. The people of Sham are crying. Mission accomplished. The Imam is awakening the people of Sham. One lesson that we want to work on, just one lesson today, is the lesson that we learn in Karbala and Kufa and Sham in a very powerful manner. We've spoken about multiple lessons of ideology and being strong and identity. But one very practical lesson is the lesson of the power of speech. The Imam was able to achieve all of this through speech, through using words, through talking to the people. This is the power of speech. The Imam wanted to fight a battle in Kufa. You know, sometimes we say these words that the ink of a scholar is more powerful than the blood of a shaheed, and all of these, and we say, okay, you know, we think these are nice things to say. No, this is a reality. The Imam, the jihad of our fourth Imam, which is no less than the jihad of the other Imams, was with his words. The Imam destroyed Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. The Imam destroyed Yazid. This is something we have to understand the power of. The Holy Quran teaches us that Allah has given us this power. Allah taught us the value of words. Surah Rahman, verse 1 to 4. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ar-Rahman. A'allama al-Quran. Allah, the merciful, taught the Quran. Khalaqa al-insan. He created the human being. He taught the Quran, created the human being. These are things that we are aware of. What does Allah want to tell us about what He did in terms of our creation, our guidance? Allamahul bayan. Allah says, I was the one that taught the human being this art of speech. It's something that Allah has blessed us with. This is a blessing that we've received from Allah. And through this very same speech, talking, communication, how much good and how much bad has been done in history. How much good has been achieved? Look at this, a live example. Through the words of our Imams, and particularly in Kufa and Sham, how much guidance has reached humanity. And through these very words, how much misguidance has been spread. There's a beautiful hadith in today's discussion, whilst we're discussing speech. I've written about 10 to 15 hadith from our first Imam. So I'll be quoting these. I won't mention each time it's from our first Imam, but if you hear a hadith from now, it's from our first Imam. There's a very beautiful book called Ghurarul Hikam. It's been translated into English. It's worth having, this book. It summarizes topics from our first Imam in a beautiful manner. The Imam says, رُبَّ فِتْنَةٍ أَثَارَهَا قَوْلٌ. How many fitna, a whole movement of corruption in a community that was caused by words. We don't understand the power of words sometimes. You know, we have this saying, I've been attacking English sayings, that's why I didn't want the English one also for today. The English saying, we've been attacking them. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. This is completely incorrect. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will definitely hurt me, we should say. Words are more powerful than sticks and stones at times. The Imam is showing this to us. This the hadith is telling us how many fitna, a whole movement in Siffin to move the community away from our first Imam was caused by words. Inil hukm illa lillah. An ayah of the Quran was used. It created such a fitna that lasted decades after Siffin. The whole Islamic community was moved astray by people that used words. This is the power of words. There's many hadith about this. There's one hadith that is quoted not from Ghurar. There's a different hadith. Inna hadha al-lisan miftahu khayrin wa miftahu shar. This tongue is the key to goodness and the key to evil. However you use it, it can be something that opens up doors for goodness and opens up doors for evil. This is the tongue and the words and the power of these words that Allah has given us. How much misguidance has been spread over history by this very tongue. Some of the ahadith from our first Imam, min dala'il al-aql, and these ahadith, if you are aware of Ghurar al-Hikam, are very short but very powerful. Min dala'il al-aql an-nutq bis-sawab. The Imam says, if you want to see how intellectual a person is, look at how truthful and correct his speech is. It's interesting. Why am I stopping and pausing on this point? It's because really we take speech lightly. We really think that we can just say anything and what I just said, it'll just pass. The Imams are trying to teach us that this power of speech is something that is immense and we've really not understood it. Both ways. I'm not trying to just say that we should avoid the bad. Use speech for its goodness. Islam has spread and stayed alive in our communities through speech. But fitna has also been caused by this very much speech. Love and affection has been spread in families by speech. The main tool to be used in spreading love and affection to our spouses, to our children, to our parents, to our extended family members is speech. It's one of the main tools to be used. But this very speech is the same tool that has been used throughout history to destroy relationships. This is common knowledge that the most common cause for separation and issues in the family unit is communication. You can search this. This is common knowledge nowadays. They say we couldn't communicate properly. We weren't able to understand each other and speak to each other properly. The same thing that was a tool to be used to create love and affection and to strengthen relationships is the same tool that can be used to destroy relationships. We have to understand the power of this tongue. This is one of the clear messages of Kufa and Sham, that the Imam was able to achieve so much through the power of speech. And there's so much stress in the ahadith. Man saddada maqalahu barhana an ghazarati fadlihi. A person who learns to speak correctly. With speech in Arabic, you'll always find, many times you'll find the word tasdeed or sadid. In the Holy Quran also you'll find it. The Imam says, whoever speaks strong, correct in its own place. We'll speak about what the right speech means. That's what I'm moving on to. Whoever speaks in the right way, this is a proof that this person has overflowing virtues. You want to see if a person, how virtuous they are? Look at how they speak. Look at how they talk. Look at their communication. In society, in the family, in the workplace, with na-mahram, with the family members, with Allah, with the Ahlul Bayt. You want to understand a person's virtue and value? Look at the way that they speak. Al-karam milkul lisan. Virtue itself, all of virtue. In Arabic, when you say al-karam, means all of virtue, all of honor, is to control and own. Milk is to own. To own your tongue. When you own something, you decide how it's used. When it owns you, it decides how you are used. The Imam is saying, look, it's such a beautiful, al-karam milkul lisan. Virtue and honor is to have control and own your own tongue. And the hadith are many over here. To make this more practical, let's ask 5 questions when we want to speak, to make sure that we are using this tool correctly for guidance like the Imam did, for creating love in our families and not to create discord and disunity in our families, in our communities. Number 1, the first question a person has to ask themselves when they want to speak, and the most essential question, is what is the purpose of my speech? Why am I speaking just now? If a person is able to do this in every instance of their speech, in essence, they control their tongue. Why am I speaking? Somebody insulted me. Why am I speaking? To show them that, look, here, you don't insult me and get away with that. I'll show you. You hit me once, I'll hit you twice. I'll make you taste and let you know that you don't mess with a person like me. Is that an honorable intention to speak with? When you have that intention, what do you think the words are going to be? Do you think the words after that are going to be, please don't say that to me? Of course not. The words are going to be things that a short while later you'll probably regret saying those words. Or we say something at times to show people that I know things. Right? You're sitting in a gathering. Everyone has said something. The point is complete. The discussion is complete. I just want to show people that, look, I want to show people. Is this an honorable reason to speak? If this is my reason to speak, the reason why I'm pausing over here, the reason to speak is the compass. It'll give you all of the other questions, follow the reason to speak. The most powerful question to ask ourselves with regards to speech is, what is my purpose in this speech? What do I aim to achieve? My aim should be something that's honorable. That Allah says, yes, this is valuable speech. To create love, to create brotherhood, to create bonds, to mend relationships, to guide people, to help somebody, to show somebody direction, to show them their flaws in the right way, in the right time. That'll follow. These are honorable reasons. Even to have fun, even to have a discussion where you enjoy your relationship and you socialize with people, this is an honorable reason. We have a hadith where the Imams would ask the companions that how much do you joke with each other? How much do you have light conversation with each other? And the companion, I can imagine, in this situation would probably want to give an answer because he can't lie. He probably wants to give an answer that pleases the Imam. And he wants to tell the Imam, "Bahut masti nahi karta." And the companion over here, that's my opinion, I'm just adding masala to the story. Don't put that in the hadith. In the hadith, the companion replies back saying that qalilun, we don't joke too much. The Imam reprimands this person. He says, Inna Allaha la yuhibbul muda'ib fil jama'a. Allah loves the one that in a gathering brings about a lively spirit. But the Imam puts a condition. He says, bila rafath, without any dirty jokes, without any inappropriate mention. Don't do something that harms and takes away the value of this. These are honorable reasons. You want to create friendship, you want to create a light environment. These are honorable reasons. Number one, why am I speaking? The answer is to have positive impact. Wisdom in speech shows itself here. Number two, what am I saying? Now that I've understood, okay, this is the purpose that look, doing this process is not going to happen like this. It's not like somebody says this to you and you say, okay, wait a second. Maulana said 5 points. I time up, Jo. This is something that we have to practice, of course. In society, when we're asked a question, you can't always slow things down. But if we slow it down a few times, we'll develop this skill. We'll become like this. Like a person who, for example, right now in your own fields, let's say somebody's a mechanic, right? When they're given a car in front of them, it's not like they pull out their textbook from, engineering school and say, okay, wait a second, which part of the car are you talking about? They've got it now. They've developed this ability and skill to live like this. We have to practice these things. Number one, why are you saying? Number two, what are you saying? There's so much that can go wrong over here. You want to do something good. Your purpose is right. But if you don't pay attention to the purpose properly, you can end up saying things that are wrong. You can lie. You can backbite. You can insult. You can show hatred and jealousy in your speech. All of these are things that can come out in our speech. So number two is, what am I saying? Yes, my intention, inshallah, is correct. But what am I using to fulfill that intention? Because Islam, doesn't accept this idea that the ends justify the means. Right? There's an idea that says that, look, if your goal is good, any route you take to reach that goal is okay. Like Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood wanted to give to the poor. Even if you steal from the rich, it's okay. No, Islam doesn't accept this. You have a good purpose. You have to carry out the right actions to achieve that right purpose. Number two is, what am I saying? Number three, how am I saying it? This is where many of us slip up. We may have a good purpose. We may be saying things that are not incorrect, are not lies, not ghiba. But the tone that we use is so effective. Keep in your minds, we're going to apply all of this to Karbala and Kufa and Sham. The Imam has shown us a masterpiece of speech in all of these aspects. The tone that we use. How? Sometimes you want to tell somebody, you want to express love for somebody. Right? Speech, a lot of our examples are the family unit, because this is where we need to really be more careful of how we communicate. You have the intention of putting across a message of love to somebody, to your spouse, to your children, to your parents. Love is something that needs to be alive and thriving in the family. The family has to thrive of love. You want to say something good. You've made sure nothing in it is incorrect, no ghiba. But the tone that we use defeats the purpose. Right? The tone that you're using is putting across a different message. Sometimes we want to say something, just one twist in tone and intonation makes such a difference. You say, I really appreciate everything you did, but... Finished. Now, how much ever you want to say, they're going to be paying attention to the after the but what you're going to say. Say appreciation, give appreciation on its own. Later, if you want to say something else, put it separately. Why do you have to make the appreciation conditional? Give the appreciation as it is. How are you saying it? This is number 3. In how you are saying it, one key message that is very relevant and alive for our society and all societies is that when we speak, our purpose should be love and concern and guidance for our believing brothers and sisters. But the tone has to match this purpose. Let's speak in a way that shows love, that shows concern. You know, if we were to speak with our youth in this manner, how effective it would be in creating bonds with them. Look, the parent wants to remind the child that you should be praying namaz. The parent wants to remind the child that you shouldn't be sleeping in until 11, 12 o'clock. The parent wants to remind the child that you should be wearing hijab like this. The parent wants to remind so many things. Good purpose. You're not saying anything incorrect, but the tone you're saying it in doesn't show that love and concern. If you were to slice open the heart of this parent, I promise you'd only find love and concern. But the way it's coming out is showing something completely opposite. We're showing belittling. We're showing patronizing. We're showing insulting at times. We're showing that this person lacks in aptitude, that this person is not able to carry about their day properly, not able to fulfill their responsibilities properly. In fact, the tone is showing that this person is incapable and incompetent. That's a very strong message to get. The parent will say, but Maulana Sheikh, I didn't say anything that... Yes, you didn't say it. Your purpose is clean, but the tone shows that. Tone is very important. When we choose to speak, the Imam says, لِكُلِّ مَقَامٍ مَقَالٍ. Every place has its own speech. You want to say something? Look at the place that you're in. Look at the situation you're in. Look who's listening. Look how that person is feeling. Look at how they would take that and put yourself in their shoes. How would you take that in this situation? And the last one is, who are you saying this to? Sometimes we have everything ticked, but you're telling the wrong person. You're supposed to tell this person about guidance, some message to them, but you're telling the wrong person. Sometimes we have all the compassion, all the right words, the how, the when, everything is correct. You're supposed to spread this message of love, but we're doing it outside of the family, knowingly or unknowingly. This is devastating. You did everything correct. The most important one you got completely wrong. If we adjust our speech according to these 5 principles, I'll go over them one time. Many don't take notes, but I think everyone takes mental notes. Why? Purpose. What am I saying? How am I saying it? When am I saying it? And who am I saying it to? The driving factor between all of these being, why? What's the purpose? Let me give you an application of this, and then we'll move on to applying this to Karbala and Kufa and Sham, and we'll conclude. Just imagine a lot of our community interactions. Right? This is a topic that is very pertinent and relevant. A lot of our interactions, we live in a community together. We care about each other. Even those that take up leadership out of concern. Many a time they're suffering from taking up this role of leadership. It's not enjoyable for them. They take it out of concern. But the communication between all the different parties involved, if it was based on these 5 criteria, our society would be so much more harmonious. We'd have such beautiful relationships between each other, because I can say with all confidence, in a beautiful Jamaat like this Jamaat, truly beautiful Jamaat, no exaggeration, the concern and the love and the care with all the different groups and parties is truly evident. So where are we going wrong? The way that we communicate, the way that we put this message across of love and care needs more consideration. Just imagine some of these meetings that unfortunately get so heated at times unnecessarily. If we were to abide by these laws, imagine we had these written in our meetings that anyone who wanted to speak had to think about these before they speak. How would our meetings look? I promise our meetings would look, they're already so beautiful and beneficial. They would look even more beautiful and beneficial. They would be so much more purposeful. They would bring us towards harmony in a society in a beautiful way. We have to be very careful of how we use our speech because, and this is a very beautiful message that our Imam gives us, Al-Kalam fi wathaqik. Words are in your control. Ma lam tatakallamu bih. Until you haven't spoken, they're with you. They're in your heart, they're in your mind. You can play around with them. You can say, I should say this first, I should say it like this. This is the tone I should use. All of this is in your control. Nobody can say anything about something that's in your heart that you're thinking about how to present. This is in your control. You are the owner of these words. فَإِذَا تَكَلَّمْتَ بِهِ صِرْتَ فِي وَثَاقِهِ. As soon as you pronounce these words, now you are a prisoner of these words. Because tomorrow these words are something that you have said and they'll be used against you. So we should think about them when they're in our control, that we put them out in a way that tomorrow I'm not shy of what I had said because I thought about it. Of course, we make errors, we may slip up. We will slip up with our tongue. It's very difficult. But apologizing is also something that's very powerful that we do with this same organ. The same tongue can apologize. One of the most powerful things that the tongue can say is an apology. Of course, with the right criteria. Sometimes an apology is more painful than an insult. It must be pronounced in the right way, at the right time, to the right person. With all of this in mind, let's look at Karbala, and let's look at Kufa, and let's look at Sham. A review of the 5 questions as well. Look at the Imam in Karbala. He spoke in many instances. His purpose, he stood up and said, my purpose is only to correct the ummah of my grandfather. He pronounced this time and again. He told all the people, this is my mission. What he would say, the Imam would only say that which was truthful. They did not have anything ill in it. How he would say it. If you look at the speeches of the Imam in Karbala, you see nothing but love and concern and deep. This word, I don't have a nice English translation. We say dard. The Imam would speak from a position of dard and deep pain for the people and what they were doing. When they would say it, the Imam would pick the most influential times, the most effective times to put his message across. And who he was saying it to were the people that needed to be guided. Kufa and Sham again, the same. The Imam, why was he saying it? He had a clear mission in Kufa to make the people remember their mistakes, to understand what they've done. In Sham, the mission was to enlighten them. The mission was clear. What he was saying was clear. How he was saying it, you see in Kufa, he had his style that matched his purpose. In Sham, he had his style that matched his purpose. When he was saying it, in both instances, he wasn't given a chance. He sought and found the best chance and stood up and delivered his words, and who he was saying it to were the people that needed it the most. Simple guidance, so profound and effective in our lives. We pray to Allah that we all get a chance to understand the power of this speech and use it in the best way possible. Let's turn our hearts to Sham. One of the parts of the khutbah of the Imam cannot be recited except as masa'ib. A few lines of this khutbah of our Imam in Sham truly is painful for the heart to hear. Let's listen to these and as masa'ib connect to our Imam. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdillah. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdillah. Sallallahu alayka ya أبا عبد الله. When our Imam has introduced himself, now he wants to tell the people of Sham, oh people of Sham, you don't know what happened in Karbala. This very grandson of the Prophet, this very person that the Prophet would hold highly, that the Prophet would embrace, that the Prophet would kiss. Look what happened to this person. أنا ابن المقتول ظلما. I am the son of the one that was martyred and oppressed. أنا ابن المجزوز الرأس من القفا. I am the son of the one that his head was severed from behind. أنا ابن العطشان حتى قضى. I am the son of the one that was thirsty until he left this world. أنا ابن طريح كربلاء. I am the son of the one who was left alone on the plains of Karbala. أنا ابن مسلوب العمامة والرداء. I am the son of the one that these people took away his turban and took away his cloak. أنا ابن من بكت عليه ملائكة السماء, the one who the angels of the skies cried upon. أنا ابن من ناحت عليه الجن في الأرض والطير في الهواء. Even the jinn, even the birds cried for this man. But look at this line that the Imam ends this part of his speech with, a very painful line. أنا ابن من رأسه على السنان يهدى. I am the son of the one whose head was upon a spear, guided and taken from Kufa to Sham. أنا ابن من حرمه من العراق إلى الشام تسبى. I am the son of the one whose family was taken as prisoners from Iraq to Sham. This is our Imam. This is what they did to him in Karbala. Onwards to Kufa and Sham. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. مات حسين.
Ya Husayn, 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 Ya इन्ना लिल्लाह पढ़ के अकबर को हाय शैने आमामा बांधा है। इन्ना लिल्लाह पढ़ के अकबर को हाय शैने आमामा बांधा है। इन्ना लिल्लाह पढ़ के अकबर को हाय शैने घर से निकले हैं इस तरह अकबर जैसे कोई जनाजा आता है। इन्ना लिल्लाह पढ़ के अकबर को हाय शैने
موت جینے کی کر رہی ہے دعا اور اکبر چلے گئے مرنے کو. موت جینے کی کر رہی ہے دعا اور اکبر چلے گئے مرنے کو. ام لیلا کا مصطفیٰ بیٹا زخم سینے پہ کھانے جاتا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو عائشہ نے امام باندھا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو عائشہ نے جیسے دل جا رہا ہو مقتل میں جیسے جاتی ہو جان سینے سے. جیسے دل جا رہا ہو مقتل میں جیسے جاتی ہو جان سینے سے. ایسے اپنے جوان کے پیچھے ایک مظلوم باپ چلتا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو عائشہ نے امام باندھا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو عائشہ نے اتنا پیارا ہے شاہ کو اکبر سارے سالم یہ بات جانتے ہیں. اتنا پیارا ہے شاہ کو اکبر سارے ظالم یہ بات جانتے ہیں. ایک اکبر پہ چل رہی ہے یہاں ابن زہرا وہاں تڑپتا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو عائشہ نے امام باندھا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے عائشہ نے قوت مرتضیٰ یہ پوچھتی ہے صبر شبیر اتنا بتلا دے. قوت مرتضیٰ یہ پوچھتی ہے صبر شبیر اتنا بتلا دے. یہ تو خیبر کے در سے وزنی تھا کیسے لاشا جواں اٹھایا ہے. اللہ پڑھ کے اکبر نے عائشہ نے انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو امام رن میں رہوار سے گرے اکبر شاہ خیمے کے در سے اٹھ نہ سکے. رن میں رہوار سے گرے اکبر شاہ خیمے کے در سے اٹھ نہ سکے. ایسے دل تھا کہ گرے مولا عرش جیسے زمین پہ گرتا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو عائشہ نے امام باندھا ہے. انا للہ پڑھ کے اکبر کو عائشہ نے امام باندھا ہے. سورہ مبارکۃ الفاتحہ.
توجه زيارة. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذريتك، علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن، أجل الله فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.